Hello, my love. Your life, it's about to shift from today on with this last karmic release. You have gone through so much, and there was a big shift in consciousness that you integrated in your body, your identity shift, and then you were called to bring that new self into your old life to be able to rewrite the story. And maybe you were already so exhausted from doing all of that shedding, all of that inner work of letting go or releasing the old patterns that didn't serve you to be able to find who you truly are. And you might be wondering, I was done, I did it, and I thought that things were going to be easy from then on. And instead, I got swept by a huge wave of like what felt like going backwards, like what felt like the old patterns and the past coming up to bit me in the butt. But that's not the old version of you going through it, like being swept away from the storm. This time it's been different, because this time it was the new you, the new consciousness, going to revisit the past stories to anchor the new consciousness and rewrite all of that. It was the test from the universe that you had to go through to rewire and anchor in the body from experience, because we can do our inner work alone. Yes, we can dig through the patterns, understand, somatically feel it, but then the true anchoring happens with exposure to real life, to the real events and patterns that bring up the same circumstances in life, where your body actually feels it, where you actually step fully with your multidimensional being into this 3D world as well, to be able to bring in the new consciousness and the new awareness and feel completely integrated and anchored in your new identity. And so this wasn't going backwards. This was being a courageous, strong warrior of light that was grounded in itself or herself. And you chose to consciously go to revisit these places from the new awareness, knowing that you could do that you were strong enough, and you did it, and you did pass this test, because you did not let the old take over you. Of course you felt it in your body, of course your nervous system got activated, but that, of course, maybe it hurt, but that doesn't mean that it took power over you, because then you still chose yourself. So it was really about fully stepping into your power, because it's easy to be like, well, we did the inner work, I understood that, and I've done my exercises, right? From detachment, from being away from the trigger. And the new version of you, your new life, requires you to fully show up and fear nothing, and not avoid the triggers or the situations, but be able to be present in it and have discernment. Yes, so we are not going to repeat the same patterns, but we're also not going to avoid them out of fear, because we're so grounded and strong and powerful in our new frequency, and anchored in ourselves and sovereign over our life and over our experience, that it doesn't scare us to walk back into the fire, because now we know that we carry the water to tame all of the flames. And yes, it can feel in the moment heavy and intense, because it is so much to process for your nervous system. But this is why you have done so much work and you're now being asked to rest so your nervous system, after all of that work, can fully settle and integrate. Because in the end of the story, yes, it's not about life being perfect and all rainbows and unicorns always, but it is about this earthly experience to be able to accept both the light and the dark, because one cannot exist without the other. And so it is about embracing the duality, but knowing that it doesn't define you, knowing that you hold the power to choose. And so even if you walk back into the storm and it hurts in the moment, you still come back to yourself and you still choose yourself. And it can unsettle deeply your nervous system, and it can bring up reactions, and it can bring up the fire. And it is asking to do not judge yourself. If this like sacred rage comes up, it's simply a sign that a boundary is being crossed. And the moment that we stop judging ourselves for not fitting into this idea of people pleasing or being always nice, but we embrace the truth of who we are and the power, and we say no to these patterns, and we see from outside how things that used to trigger us because they used to define who we were are triggering us because our nervous system is reacting to that, and be like, pay attention, be aware, this is not okay. But this time you're not abandoning yourself to please others, you are standing up for yourself. And that sacred rage, it's not something to be ashamed of anymore, but now you see that that sacred rage is protection, because it allows you to finally see and choose yourself when this boundary breaks happened. And so you are truly evolving in any aspect of your being. And the young you will be so proud of you, and the old you is so proud of you, and all of your ancestors are so proud of you, because you have been digging deep and doing that work that they maybe couldn't do. And by doing this work, you're sending love back to them, because your bodies, you are embodying more love, more unconditional love frequency, because you have finally learned to choose yourself. And that's the reason why you came here, to learn to love yourself, even when family or friends or your job or the people in the situation that society says, right, are supposed to help us the most and sustain, don't. Not because they're bad or they don't want to, it's because they don't have the capacity to, and they think that what they do is helpful. And so they think that they're trying to help, but actually that help comes out as control and taking you off of your path, because that help, it's not suited for you, because they, other generations or society taught us a certain way. And so this beliefs run deep, and so these people don't have bad intention, and now we can see it and we can love them for who they are, but also choose to still love ourselves and say, that doesn't work for me, thank you, but that doesn't work for me. And so you choose better for yourself based on what you know that you need and what you know that you love and what works for you as a unique being, because we're moving into this time of sovereignty, of the individual that reclaims his true nature and his true power. And we're all so unique and we're all so different. And so there isn't one set of this is what works, this is what doesn't, of limitations, of boxes that society told us that we need to fit into. You are reclaiming your sovereignty to decide upon your life based on what makes you truly happy, what makes you feel alive, what helps your spark to shine. And that is your path to abundance, to be authentic, to fully unravel each and every of your characteristic and peculiarities that make you unique and make you you. And that's why you came here, to be you. And no one from now on ever gets to tell you how you need to live your life and what you need and what you want, because you're now so much more comfortable. And yes, this whole life, it's a journey of discovering yourself, of remembering who you really are beneath all of this conditioning and all of these rules that they impose onto us. But there is just like so much karmic burn going on that from now on your life, it's going to be completely different, because in the past there was a different level of awareness, and so there was still a sort of repressed guilt or shame that was driving your decisions, because that part, that internalized guilt, was like responding to life and filtering information through that. So even though maybe you were getting insights or getting the drive to do things that you like, you didn't allow yourself to pursue that idea or path because you thought it was silly or wrong or a waste of time or money. And because it came from those like limitations, came from the old paradigm. But as all of that, it's being released now, and as you anchored your new being and your new frequency, walking through the flames of the past, you're now done with that, and you're now ready to focus on the future. Because you're now present, and so you're not like looking at the future as, I can't wait to be there, so I'll finally be enough. You're anchored in yourself and you feel enough, you feel complete. And it doesn't matter what people think and say and do. It doesn't even affect you anymore, because now you see clear where it comes from, and you see clear that it isn't who you are. It isn't the truth of who you are. And also, they're not like bad people that are trying to hurt you, or that you need to run away from. You can stay open and allow life to present yourself, but you can definitely limit the exposure and the time to what isn't aligned with you, just because it isn't aligned with you. So you can actually pour that energy into the future, into those projects, into your mission to be here on Earth and help humanity and help the planet raise its frequency by sharing your gifts, by being in your energy, by pouring that love into yourself, by cultivating aligned relationships and aligned projects, and do what makes you truly happy, instead of spending all of that energy to please others, to explain yourself, to try to get their approval, because you thought in the past that to be able to do what you love, you needed to seek their approval, and if they didn't approve of you or your idea, then it wasn't worth following, because it was wrong, because you're still relying on their validation. And it's not a fault, that's how we were programmed, that's how we were raised. But this is no longer there, and so you can see how the energy has been different. Yes, you have gone through all of these flames, but your response after your nervous system got activated, you didn't abandon yourself and you came back into your body. And so now truly it is about allowing your nervous system to rest and to reset after all of this work, so that you're able to replenish your energy and move forward, and also allow the universe to replenish you, because you've just gone through like so much action and doing and achieving and striving and giving. And it is your time to receive now. It is your time to be in the receptive mode. And if you keep using the masculine energy to achieve, do, improve, you're blocking this receiving channel. So you're being asked to stay open, heart open, and do not worry about how things will land or happen for you, because it is already done. It is already done. The work to do wasn't material action in the world or strategies or more like regular work. It was the inner work. It was releasing those blocks, because everything that you are meant for, it's always been yours. It's always been there for you. But those limitations and blocks and old beliefs were not allowing the abundance to come through, because we've been taught that it must be hard, that it must be difficult to achieve something, and we need to keep working and working hard. And that's the work, the inner work. And you have done everything that needed to be done. This is the last window of this karmic burn, and you're ready to receive all of the blessings, all of the beauty, and it's going to happen suddenly. So release the need of doing and just rest. Allow yourself to rest. That's how the abundance comes in, and that's how you receive. Imagine that there is a shower of green light energy, of money flowing through you. And all you need to do is rest. When you move around your energy, it tops it off. But when you allow that and rest, it's like attracting all of that energy into your body, into your being, magnetizing it, and it's transforming through your body into life in form of aligned projects, collaborations, work, money, business, houses, anything that supports you in fulfilling your path, your mission here on earth. And you don't need to know how, because the universe already has it all figured out for you. So just trust and rest and be here now in love. Thank you so much for receiving this powerful message today. And if you feel called to work with me, I have all my programs linked below. I also have a program that helps you to release those money blockages, recalibrate your wealth magnetic energy to be able to be a service in the new earth, because money in the hands of good people, that's what changes the world. I love you so much. See you in the next one.